Hi there, it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts, Stamping Up demonstrator from the UK. My brain stopped there for a moment. Thank you very much for joining me again today. If this is your first time on my YouTube channel, well, thank you very much for finding me. I hope you enjoy your time here. If you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do. There's a button in the bottom right hand corner to do that. All of the products that I use are currently available on my online store. I say currently because a lot of what I'm using, in fact, everything except three items-ish, are going to retire. We've just heard that anything that's on the retiring list is not going to be discounted. There was a suggestion that things on the retiring list were going to be discounted, but we heard yesterday that that's not going to happen. So if you've been waiting to jump in and buy stuff at a discounted price, I'm afraid that's not going to happen. So if you want things that are about to retire, now is the moment to do it. And there's a link to my online store in the description bar below, and all the products that I've used will also be linked below. If you're new, again, there is a blog post that will have close-up photos and more information and that good stuff. So today's project is one that I've put together as part of the Stamping Up Day of Service initiative in the UK. The Stamping Up UK office are working with the Wickham Homeless Connection, who are leading the guidance assistance for anyone who is homeless in the High Wycombe area. So it's a great charity. They're doing all sorts of amazing stuff. So they have asked if we can produce some thank you cards for anyone who is working with the charity, because obviously they have a lot of volunteers and it's quite nice to provide the charity with cards where they can thank people for offering their services for free. And this is the card that I've come up with. Now, I am on Case the Catalogue fortnight, so in true style, on page 60 is the Coffee Cafe. This is of the old soon-to-go catalogue. Coffee Cafe, which I have loved this stamp set. I'm a great coffee drinker, so for me this was just a perfect set. So I will be quite sorry to see it go. There's lots of lovely new stuff happening, so I'm not going to be that disappointed. I'm just going to make the most of it while I've still got it. And I'm casing this card here. Now, I've seen quite a lot of projects that other people have already put together for this project, and they're mostly aimed at women. So I've done one that I think is for anyone. It could be for a man or a woman, because I think otherwise we're going to end up with lots of men getting very frilly female cards. So that's why I've got this one. I'm doing a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Conveyor belt. That'll do. My brain really isn't working today. I've got a dental appointment this afternoon, which for you guys will be a couple of days ago, and I'm really not looking forward to it. It's 2 hours in the dentist chair, so my brain is not quite with it. Anyway, so I've got this conveyor belt going because I'm aiming to make 10. So I've made one, and I part made a second, but I thought I would show you how I do my conveyor belt. So we're up to, what, 4 minutes already. So I have pre-cut lots of cards. Those were my bases. I'm using crumb cake as the base because I think that's quite a nice neutral colour. So I've just taken, I'm doing 10 cards. I've taken 5 sheets, scored them down the middle, and then cut them in half to make an A5 piece of paper card that you can then fold in half to make an A6 card base, which is the sort of standard UK card base. And then I've cut crumb cake mats at my usual 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. Measurements in the blog post, linked below, don't worry. So this is just slightly smaller than the card base. I like the fact that there is just an extra bit of layer, although it is the same colour. That's kind of why I like it. And then I've cut some liners for the inside because I know that they're going to want to write in there. As you know, I generally don't put a liner on the inside of my card until I've decided who it's going to and what I'm writing, so that when I go wrong, I stick the liner in after I've written it, because then if I go wrong, all I have to do is do a new liner, rather than trying to take it out. But I am pre-doing them. So, I'm using my Stamparatus because it really is a great tool for this. So, let me grab what I have done. I'm using the matching framelets, the dies, which are the coffee cup dies. There are masses. So I've pre-die cut all the pieces I need. So I've then done a template for those and 2 plates, which hopefully I can unstick. Yes. 2 plates for stamping. So both of my Stamparatus plates. Now, to line these up, let me just take one off so that I can show you how to do this. All I do is, having die cut, and this is just a piece of scrap cardstock, having die cut the pieces that I need, I just pop the stamp into the hole and close the door and then just pick it up. So it's as simple as that. Now I've actually stuck this just with some snail to a piece of the mini grid paper, small grid paper, can't remember what we call it, just so that it keeps down, and then I put magnets on that just to help it stay down. I have got the foam mat on the Stamparatus because these are photopolymer. So what I would do is grab my pieces. Now I need lots of lids because there are 2 cups, but I only need 1 of everything else. So I grab my pieces, pop them in, ink up the 2 stamps together, and then just close the door onto the pieces. Now they're probably going to pick up, yeah, because they are quite solid images, it's not unusual for the piece of card to stick to the stamp, but that's fine. And then I just, so that was with Fresh Fig, because it's a kind of, it's a good colour for, I'm not quite sure if it's going male or female, because it's reddish, pinkish, but not. So if I then flip this round so you can see it, in real life I would keep the 2 plates on and just do a conveyor belt across. And then I've got my 2 cups, which again I'm just going to ink up and close my lid, close my ink pad, press those down, and there they are. And again, this is picked up because it's quite a solid image, but this one hasn't. Now I have got my piercing tool there. My piercing tool is going away. So yes, if you like the piercing tool, it's a great little tool. We have got the Take Your Pick carrying over, but the actual piercing tool isn't. So if you like it, get it while it's available. It's really cheap, slash inexpensive, probably a better word. So yeah, right. Okay, my card base. I've got pre-cut and pre-tied lots of bows because we need bows, and this is in the Fresh Fig sheer ribbon. I've got lots of bits of the Designer Series paper, and this is Colour Family Neutral. So I've got all of the bits of those I need. I've got vellum circles cut at 2 1/4 with the punch. More Designer Series paper, lids. I've got cups coming out of my ears. I've got lids and thanks to lattes coming out of my ears. So let's put it all together. We just need to do a little bit of stamping, and I'll probably get this in the wrong place, but hey, let's give it a go. So I'm going to use both of the little hearts. These are dirty stamps, as in I haven't cleaned them, but I will try and keep them off the surface of my card. So I'm just doing little clusters, and again down here, about where I think they're going to be in the right place, and they probably won't be, knowing my luck. Oops, and of course I've got one there, so that's fine. We're going to stick something over that. It's not going to be a problem. Note to self, clean your stamp. Okay, so first things first, we need a piece of, ooh, that's not being cut down. Okay, a piece of cut down designer series paper. Did I not cut them? So I've cut them all at 6 inches, which is silly. So let me just snip that to the right size. Okay, I will give you the dimensions. I'm just going to cut a, oh, it doesn't matter. No, I was going to cut another one so I had it right, but I can always measure another one. So designer series paper, this is the colour family, as I say, neutral, and I'm just going to pop that at a kind of jaunty-ish angle. I don't like straight particularly. So that's going to be my base layer. Then I've cheated slightly because these are this piece here. So they're meant to be one piece, but of course they're not, because I didn't have enough designer series paper. So I've just cut two. I've cut them in half, in effect. So let's pop that there. And again, I'm going for jaunty angle, partly because if you go for jaunty angle and you don't quite line it up, it doesn't make it look as obvious that you haven't quite lined it up. Bring that in a wee bit. Yeah. And then 2 pieces with stripes on. And those go over the top. Yeah, I think sort of like that. And I'm deliberately coming off the edge. So those are our back pieces. The next thing I need is a vellum circle, and I'm going to stick that on with Tombow, purely because it's going to be covered up, so it's not going to show, and I kind of like Tombow as an adhesive for vellum. So that's just going to go there-ish, and then I'm going to make my cups. So the way I do these is I pop Tombow, assuming it wants to run, across the top of my cups, and then I put my lid on top. And I like to do this from the back because you can just about see where the edge of the cup is. I don't know if you can see that if I tilt it a bit. Hopefully you can see. And that means I know that it's properly in place. So we'll do that for this one. There we go. Then I need a cup holder. And again, I'm going to pop that on with Tombow because that gives me wiggle room. And I need a bit of wiggle room because I need it to line up nicely on my cup. And it's easier to do that with a liquid adhesive. That goes straight onto my card base, or my mat I should say, over the vellum. So kind of there. And I'm just going to do that for a moment while I finish the rest. So thanks a latte. Again, I'm going to adhere that with liquid adhesive purely because I've got it here at, well, I may be using snail. Let's pop that upside down so it runs to its... Right, so thanks a latte. Then mini glue dot. Fold that in half and pick up your ribbon and pop that on your mug. And then this I'm going to adhere with some dimensionals. So I'm going to pop 2 at the top, and I am making sure that they go over the cup lid just to reinforce that the lid stays on. and then just remove those. Oop. And pop that over here. Oh, if I come down a bit I can cover up that. Yay! Oh, I'll go there. Then I've covered up the bit that went wrong. Marvellous. So no one will know that there's a heart there other than us. Right, okay, so final little bits of prettiness. I have, these are the heart, now what do we call them? I can't remember. Anyway, they're in the Spring Summer catalogue, and I've coloured them with the dark Blackberry Bliss blend, because that's pretty close, once it's in situ, to the fresh fig. I mean, it's not identical rather. It's ideal, but it's not identical. But it's pretty close, so I'm happy with that. So I've done 20 of the large and 10 of the small for no other reason than that's what I had left. Right, okay. So, well, that's what I had left, divisible by 10. Okay, let's make life easy and put the card insert in before we get anything too much on this front. Let's just fold the card over to make sure I have buried my... There it is, bone folder. I do like to fold my card just to make sure that if there's a little difference in the two, the larger pieces at the front. So then I'm just going to add some snail to my card base. I find that kind of easier in the long run. Card liner in place, and then grab my mat and add some Tombow and pop that down, and because we're on Tombow we've got wiggle room. I do love a bit of wiggle room. And then as ever I like to press from the back, because then I don't smudge or move anything. And there we are. So that's 2 done. I've just got another 8 to go and then we're done. Yay! And I can get them off, and we can get them off to, let me remember who it's to, off to the Wickham Homeless Connection. So thank you very much indeed for joining me again today. Do remember, if you're shopping with me, to use the host code to share in the host rewards, and that's if your order's between £20 and under 150. There's also my VIP programme, and there's all information about that over on my blog, and that is linked below. Thank you very much indeed for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye!